how's it going? I'm Jenni.
KB.
And today we're going to be talking about something that, seems like kind of a little bit of a different genre than what we usually talk about. We have made a video about Gentleman
Jack
before, and how it's changed people's lives. And now we are going to be talking about something different about the show, which is the fact that it's been
canceled
after 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
So we did watch this season 1 before season 2 came out. We are slackers and have not finished watching season 2. But unfortunately, they decided before even season 2 completed, right? Right after.
Right after. Very
after
shortly
season
after
2 came out.
That they were...
that they were not going to be making a season 3.
Yeah.
So we have a few articles to share with you all about this. But first of all, I wanted to say, I don't think this is that far outside of our usual wheelhouse. It seems like it, because we're usually, talking about anime, talking about, Arcane, which is based on League of Legends, a video game. But I also think it's, we generally do, geeky gay girl content. And, looking at a historic lesbian character and, historic lesbian story is... I think pretty geeky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we both liked it. It has a lot of snark and tood, and I honestly think they said that one of the reasons, and we'll get to it in the article, that it wasn't renewed was because of not having enough of an American fan base.
Yeah.
I honestly think enough people just didn't know about it.
It really was... Okay, so let's look at other stuff on HBO Max. Let's look at stuff they promoted. And this is going to be completely opposite, but Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Largely promotions for things like that. What else is on HBO Max? Game of Thrones. That's other stuff too, but other shows specifically on HBO Max, like Titans, and I'm trying to think of other stuff. They seem to promote them a lot more. And to be honest with you, the only reason we found about Gentleman Jack is we were just kind of just shuffling through some stuff on the Apple TV on HBO Map, and we saw a trailer for it.
Yeah.
And we're like, what is this? Because of the way that the main character was dressed. She had her top hat on, and she was very interestingly dressed for the time period.
Yeah.
And we were just
so
that's
cool.
amazing.
What the heck is this? And then another thing that happened was a local lesbian group on Facebook that I'm in. Someone went in there and commented, and they're like, hey, who else is a fan of Gentleman Jack? Who else likes Gentleman Jack? And the comments were the funniest thing ever, but also helped back this up, this concept that not enough people knew about it. Half of the comments were I love that TV show.
Yeah.
And the other half were people are we not talking about the alcoholic drink right now? I feel like such an alcoholic, because all I can think of is the alcoholic drink of Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman Jack drink.
Yeah, so even in a local, we're in Central Florida, a local lesbian group on Facebook, about half of the people actually knew that Gentleman Jack was a TV show, which is really surprising. You would think that for the lesbian community, more people would know about it.
It's really funny too, because when we made our first video about Gentleman Jack, we actually checked on YouTube, and there really wasn't anything on there that people were really covering about Gentleman Jack. So I just feel
very little.
It was
seldom.
Very seldom. I'm like, this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't get enough promotion. It really didn't. And I don't know why, because it's such a unique, it is a period piece.
Yeah.
This is something that actually happened in, a long time ago. So this isn't fiction. And
where it's based on a real story. Yeah.
And what's really cool too is that, you told me that the diaries were coded.
Yeah, she encoded her diaries.
So, I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, the cast is wonderful. It's an amazing show. So to see that it got the axe right after season 2 finished, it's come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on,
and
HBO.
The other thing, too, is that, for me, I took it as kind of a warning, because this was a show that it seemed doing... Well, it was doing well enough to where they decided to make a season 2.
Yeah, it was
doing
very well.
But what happened, though, is there were 2 years, at least, in between.
Because of the pandemic.
So to me, I kind of took that as a warning to be dude, I better look up, and I mean, I sound like a hypocrite, because we haven't finished season 2 yet. We enjoyed what we did watch of it.
Yeah.
But I kind of took it as a warning of, I better check on all the shows that I was really into before the pandemic and make sure that I keep up with them because this is kind of what happens if you don't give it the support that it had before the
Yeah.
pandemic, is that these shows that had filming delays and things like that, one of them that comes to mind that is still coming that had a long break is, what was that, Carousel? Do you know? Carnival Row.
Carnival Row.
That one's so freaking good. Carnival Row. And that one had a huge film delay because of the pandemic. So I'm like, I better get on and see when that's coming out.
Yeah.
And the shows that for you all that you're interested in and we're watching before the lockdown, like, go check on your shows. Keep up with them. Because if not, then unfortunately, this is what can happen. And even though they were canceled, we'll get into reading the articles. We're, like, sharing a lot before we even get to them.
Well, yeah, because it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, like many people that are fans of the show, it's such a unique show and has so much to offer because of all the source material that they have, and they still have these diaries that they're encoding. It's like, we can't just end it there.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't watched all of season 2, but it just feels like if they ended on a cliffhanger, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, we've watched plenty of shows that were, you know, on CWC, and we get into them, and then we're like, oh, this must be over, right?
No, they didn't
I
give
can't
it
think
a
of
conclusion.
the one with the lie one, but that one was really good.
The Lion Game.
The Lion Game.
That one's so freaking good.
Oh my gosh!
And it ended, like, freaking on a cliffhanger.
Huge cliffhanger! I was just like, this is it?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, looking up, is there more?
But anyway, we were, like, really disappointed and upset to see this happen.
Yeah.
We did do a previous video, go check it out, about how this show changed people's lives.
That's the thing.
Gave them permission to be themselves.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Because that is also what's so awesome about what Jenni and Jack has done, and just made people feel comfortable to come out as themselves, to, you know, second chance doing something terrible, you know. It really has saved lives.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't think of any other show, and there probably are other shows out there that's done something like that.
Yeah.
It's such a really big thing. But we've got some articles to read.
Let's take a look.
So, we got a total of 3 articles.
Yes.
So, and we'll definitely have those linked. So the first one is
Do you
going
want to read the first? You can read the first article. I'll read the second one.
You can read the first one.
Okay.
All right. So this is the first one here,
And it says, why was Gentleman Jack canceled and how did the cast react? Can you imagine being on the cast and hearing that your show is not coming back?
and like, you know, your show's amazing and it's done all these wonderful things, and you're like, oh yeah, and it's like right after the second season. No time to prepare.
Yeah.
Fine, here.
So HBO have axed the historical drama, but why was Gentleman Jack canceled? Will the BBC continue to produce it? Let's see. Earlier this month, and this is by Anna Bailey, published 3 days ago.
Oh wow, this is recent.
Yeah, pretty recent. At the time of filming. Earlier this month, it was announced that the BBC One and HBO co-produced series Gentleman Jack was to be cancelled after only 2 seasons. The show, based on the lengthy diaries of real-life Yorkshire landowner and queer icon Anne Lister, won critical acclaim. I have goosebumps.
Yeah, me too.
And dedicated fan following. The historical drama, set in the 1830s, shows Saran Jones and Sophie Rundle as lovers, Anne Lister and Anne Walker, as they navigate their still got the goosebumps. As they navigate their relationship in an era decidedly against same-sex partnerships.
I mean, the freaking 1830s.
Right. Yeah.
I
That's
can't
like
imagine
freaking-
being out of the closet then. I'm sure it would be, but you know.
Right, yeah. And I mean, they were not, like, fully out of the closet.
No.
Like, you know, they were still keeping it low-key.
Yeah, they
which is,
were.
I feel like one of the reasons why so many people were touched by this is, like, you know, that quality of knowing that people in their lives are not going to accept them and being willing to be themselves anyway.
It's true.
Yeah. Why was Gentleman Jack canceled?
Tell us why!
U.S. co-producer HBO decided not to renew Gentleman Jack for a 3rd season. Losers. No, we love you, HBO. You've done other really great stuff, but we're disappointed about this.
Yeah.
With Deadline reporting that the cancellation was because the show was among the network's lower-rated original series in the U.S.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It's not just HBO, but we know that certain shows have not been canceled because of low ratings. So it's kind of really it's interesting that they've decided to do this.
That they'll have like low ratings. They're like, we're gonna renew it anyway because we decided we wanted to.
Yeah, we're not talking about it right now. That'll be for another video.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe
we'll
not.
See. Let's see. The news followed announcements by Warner Brothers, HBO's parent company, that CEO David Zaslav was pursuing an aggressive policy of scaling back, hoping to save £3 billion for the company within 2 years. These cutbacks are speculated to be the reason Gentleman Jack and 2 other HBO series have recently been canceled. I wonder what those are.
Oh, I know.
HBO didn't offer a reason for the cancellation, instead using a simple statement, breaking the news and thanking the cast.
Ooh, really? Are you serious?
What has Saran Jones said about the cancellation? Following news of the show's cancellation, star Saran Jones posted a blooper reel from the series on Instagram alongside the caption, "I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on our beautiful journey." I'm getting teary-eyed. Our beautiful journey making this show. While it is sad news, Gentleman Jack will not be renewed. This show has brought so many together, enabled people to share their stories, brought joy, emotion, and creativity, and gave me a real connection to you as an audience. I have never been involved in a show that has made such a huge impact and touched my heart like this one has. It wasn't always the easiest job I've had, but it was always worth it to see the response it got. So freaking touching.
I know.
How did the rest of the cast react? Creator Sally Wainwright told Radio Times, "You never know if you're going to get recommissioned, but we were kind of quietly optimistic that it would happen. When you have a show that doesn't do well, you think, well, fair enough. But I think what's bewildering is that it appeared to be doing perfectly well, but clearly not the same in America. I think they're not as interested in period drama. They're certainly not interested in 19th century English lesbians by the sound of things." Yeah, again, I think that's not true. We are huge fans of Downton Abbey, and that's a historic, period drama. And, like, both of us have other family members. My mom, your grandma. Yeah, that watch this show, Downton Abbey, and freaking love it. Like, there have been, like, huge American pop icons that have been quoted to say, like, oh, going home to watch Downton Abbey. So there are definitely other shows that, like, Americans are really into. But I think not enough people have found out about this. And the people that I'm in that post that I mentioned, that was like a local Facebook community that for lesbians, like the people who had seen it were like, oh my gosh, I love that show. Like they were huge fans of it. I think mainly because of like Anne's like swagger and her way about her. She's so great.
She's great, and she's not great at the same time.
Yeah, she does some things that you're like, that's a little murky morally. But like, it's interesting to watch because I don't see anything else that portrays like people's I think like characters, I don't know if you want to consider that a flaw, but I think characters' flaws are what make them so relatable. Yeah. And we were watching recently, this is like completely different topic, that anime, what was the anime we've been reacting to? Sakura Trick. So and I was saying, like, I don't know what it is about this character that makes me relate to her so much, but I realized I think that is that they show her kind of flaws. They show, like, the fact that she gets jealous. You know, the fact that she blames her best friend, and then when her best friend takes on the blame, like, she's like, no, and she feels bad about
it's this other girl now,
and doesn't want to take her to take the, like, she's so realistic because of her flaws. And I think the fact that Anne is just so, like, well, I'm gonna get away with this. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh, like, it's just like, you have to face fault sometimes with things that she does. Just like, oh
I feel like that's, like, we all kind of know someone like that. And we're all like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're gonna try and pull that one. I feel like that's part of what makes her so real. And the fact she was a real person doing these things.
I know, like, dude.
Yeah, I think that's all what makes her such a realistic, relatable person. Okay. Sophie Rundle took to Instagram, posting a series of behind-the-scenes shots with the caption, What a privilege it has been to play Anne Walker and bring her and Anne Lister's extraordinary love back to life. More goosebumps. I am so proud to have been a part of reclaiming their place in history. I am overwhelmed by the love this show inspired and proud. So fiercely proud. Oh my gosh. How successful was Gentleman Jack? The show first aired in the UK to an incredible reception by viewers and critics, with a peak audience of 5.6 million for their season 1's first episode. Gentleman Jack was the most successful debut episode for a BBC program in 2019 and was quickly awarded a second series. Series 2 averaged 3 to 4 million viewers in its Sunday night BBC one
That's
time slot.
Still really a lot of people.
Yeah, that
Holy
is.
crap.
Yeah, like it didn't go down that much. Deadline.com noted that Gentleman Jack was among the lower rated of HBO's original series, though HBO broadcast the series on Mondays, a day that tends to attract lower ratings generally. That, you know, like I've had other shows that I've really loved that were canceled because of viewer response, like, and it was kind of like they were aired at not the most optimal times, and so that kind of really upsets me.
I mean, think about a Monday is the start of the week, the work week. Most people that are like, ugh, Monday, they go to work, they get tired, they come home. Not a lot of them are going to want to watch Gentleman Jack. It's so great, but it's intense drama, you know, they kind of want to have something chill, and I feel like Monday night it's just a terrible time because it's so surprising because Downton Abbey always on Sunday. Yeah. You know?
I think the L Word was a Sunday release too.
Yes.
The original L Word. Because I remember, like, I was in college when OG L Word came out, and, like, there was a group of people that we, like, lesbians, that we all used to get together every Sunday night at one person's house. And she would like pay for her subscription to Showtime, just to have that available, and everyone would come together, and like it was kind of an unspoken rule that you don't talk during the show, except for there was one person who was really funny and she was allowed to talk, but like there was this whole culture and gathering surrounding the show, and it was on Sunday nights. So it does really like matter, you know,
it really
those
does.
kind of
Sundays
things,
nights are
people like gathering together, like getting snacks, bringing food, hanging out with your friends, and watching these shows together. Could Gentleman Jack ever return for season 3?
Please.
HBO canceling the series means they have withdrawn from participation in future series, but it does not mean that BBC will not make another season with another co-producer, fingers crossed.
And toes.
The BBC has confirmed that it's in discussions with Wainwright, in an interview with RadioTimes.com, creator Sally Wainwright confirmed that there was material for a follow-up season and that the remaining Anne Lister diaries had been transcribed, ready for new episodes to be written.
So the rest of her diaries they've done transcribing them.
Yeah. And we were talking about how like those diaries were written in code, so they had to like decode them and everything in order to share the story. I'm not sure if they had to do it before the show or if that was like done beforehand.
That's such
to
a
produce
cool
it
thing to think about
as
though,
a story.
right?
Yeah. It just shows too how like innovative she was. She's like, oh, I have these ideas that I want to keep like secret. I better keep them in code.
Yeah. In the 1830s.
Yeah. Right? She said, we all have the diary transcribed. We had the diary transcribed for the possible third series, and, you know, I haven't read them all yet because I didn't want to tempt fate, but I know a lot of what's in there, and it's good stuff. It's juicy stuff. I bet it is.
I bet it is.
It would make great drama.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well.
So that was the first article. We'll link these down below so y'all can check them out.
Alrighty.
But we, like, read the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that.
Okay, so here we go. So this is the next article. It's Gentleman Jack has generally saved lives. Readers respond to the show's cancellation. There's probably going to be some emotion here, just warning, because, you know...
I'm already emotional.
Yeah, me too. Alright, here we go. So, following the announcement of the hit BBC One HBO drama's axing, readers tell us what the show meant to them, from helping them find love to meeting a worldwide community of friends. Oh, God. One of the greatest gifts of my life. I waited more than 63 years to see something like Gentleman Jack on TV, having spent most of my lifetime watching shows and movies that rarely had anyone like me in them. In Gentleman Jack, we see both Anne and Anne dealing with many of the same issues, emotions, and obstacles that lesbians in our time are still dealing with.
Agree.
There were so many times Anne Lister would make a comment that was an arrow to my heart because I knew what she was feeling, even if I lived 200 years later. Getting to know Anne and Aim through the program, and now through my own reading, has been one of the greatest gifts of my life. Robin, 66, retired in Texas.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's still definitely those issues for sure. Oh, my gosh. Because of this show, I stood for election to the General Synod for the Church of England. My favorite moment has to be the scene where Anne and Anne take communion together at the Holy Trinity Church. Good, Ramgat, I don't know. Damn eyes.
I don't know.
Ramgat in York. I have never been so moved by one scene in anything I've seen before, and these were real women. Women erased from our collective history, as so many others from the LGBTQ plus community have been. I featured in the BBC documentary Gentleman Jack Changed My Life. Oh my gosh!
We're gonna have to check
that out.
Yeah.
Discussing the scene and the fact that gay people today still cannot marry in the Church of England.
Oh.
Whoa! Meaning we are in exactly the same position as Anne and Anne almost 2 centuries later.
Wow.
Because of this show and the particular scene, I stood for election to the General Synod for the Church of England, alongside hundreds of other inclusive candidates, on a platform of support for same-sex marriage, and we doubled the numbers who were elected. I will not stop talking about this and fighting for my chance to one day marry in the church I sing in every week as a member of the choir.
That's so sad.
Gentleman Jack is a one-of-a-kind program that has generally changed and saved lives, and it is appalling that it was dropped by HBO days after Pride Month. Damn you, HBO! Ended. Save Gentleman Jack. Isabel 29 London. Wow.
I feel like for me, like, that's, I don't know how you feel about that, because for me, I didn't grow up in the church, but I feel like I could see how people who are churchgoers would be really affected by the fact that they went and, what is it called, took the sacrament together. I don't know. I didn't grow up going to church.
They did. They communion. They do all kinds of stuff. I stopped going pretty early on in life, though. But I can see, like, if you are dedicated like this young lady is, and, you know, it's part of who you are, and you want to get married in this, and it seems like it's a very beautiful church, you know, that it would be very, like, upsetting that you cannot.
Yeah.
And also, it was in Gentleman Jack, too, so it's like I can see why this means a lot to this, you know, to Isabel for sure.
Yeah.
Because she wants it to be a part of who she is. She doesn't want to, like, get rid of that part of herself. She wants everything to be together. And it can't be because, well, I don't know why it can't be. Watching Gentleman Jack opened my heart to myself again. I hadn't realized how numb I had become during the course of the pandemic.
Wow.
I wasn't feeling any more and rarely showed emotion, but watching Gentleman Jack opened my heart to myself again. Each scene could elicit something different. Smiles, laughter, tears, or anger. Now I feel like myself again. My favorite moment was the scene when Anne breaks down crying, admitting to Anne that she knows people look at her and says things, but she trained herself to rise above it. And that moment when she wonders aloud if anyone could really love her. I've lived this scene in my own bed more than once. Stephanie, 58, Healthcare Project Manager, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Oh my. It's the people I've met through Anne Lister. Just watching a well-made drama where the main couple is a lesbian is huge to me. But what's more important is the community that has been created around Anne Lister, which consists mostly of queer women and non-binary people of all ages. As someone who doesn't have any real-life queer friends, I've met people through the program who've helped me come to terms with myself and my sexuality. They have been to me what Anne was to Anne when she struggled with her sexuality. Bella, 20, gender studies student, Sweden. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And even though there are more and more lesbian couples showing up, like, in stories, I really still find that there is a very like, it's rare that they're the main characters.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Or it doesn't end up in tragedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've watched some movies and I'm just kind of like, no. But yeah, this is huge, honestly, and it's gonna open more like doors, just like how an Owl House has opened a lot for the animation. I feel like this is gonna open more stuff too.
Yeah.
It's just gonna hopefully for season 3, and the good stuff. So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me realize my love for my partner.
Aww.
It was such a special series like none other that I've seen before. Anne Lister's stories helped me grow more confident in myself, my sexuality, and accept and embrace who I am as a person. It helped me realize my love for my partner and helped me bring us together and admit our feelings for each other. Oh, jeez. Something I'm incredibly grateful for. Neve 20, psychology student, Manchester. Oh, Manchester.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? And what I'm, like, thinking about? Remember, it was, like, years ago, we watched that show. It was, like, the L Word. But it was like a real story that was in one of the southern states.
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember what state it was?
It was Texas, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Texas. Mm-mm.
It was the one though that they were like, you call it the belt.
Was it Louisiana?
Yeah.
I don't know. It
remember.
was in one of the southern states, and they were sharing about like their lives there, like within southern culture.
Dude,
and
what is that thing called? You called it the Bible Belt?
In the Bible Belt,
That's what it's called.
So like the southern U.S. Bible Belt.
Yeah.
And it was really like
eye-opening.
Yeah, it was really I think it was Mississippi.
I think
the
it was
Mississippi. I want to say, and at the time, like same-sex marriage wasn't legal there.
Yeah.
And like these couples like were trying to just make their lives work, and they didn't want to leave their home. They're like, oh, you're not allowed to get married here in Mississippi. Yeah. They kept like going to ask for their marriage license, and they would get turned down over and over again. And they're like, we don't want to move. This is our home.
Yeah, it's their home.
But like one of them would like pray every time before she was with her partner, and all kinds of
things
like that. Yeah.
That was intense. She literally...
Like, I can't imagine living like that.
They showed her on her knees praying for forgiveness who she's with.
Yeah.
And then there was the other one that was praying to please make me not the way I am.
Yeah.
That was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was really emotional to watch.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like then when you look at this, where it was, like, so much earlier in time, and these people finding ways to live as themselves within this world that just, like, really didn't want them to live as themselves.
True.
It's just really empowering and emboldening, and obviously it had this huge effect on so many people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It will always remind me of my sister. As a black man, I'm not the usual demographic for this one. My mates have laughed at my dedication, but my sister introduced me to it. My little sister Abby was in hospital for cancer treatment, and I watched it with her. She was lesbian, and it meant the world to her, so I gave it a chance. It's touching and well-made piece of TV. As I love history and politics, I easily found myself immersed once I let myself open up to it. It was a nice break from reality shows, a good, solid history drama, and will always remind me of Abby and her joy in watching. Very sad for it not to continue. Toby, 27, barista in London. Whew. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better acting performance on TV during my lifetime.
Wow.
Everything about this show is sensational. When I watched Normal People back in 2020, I didn't think the TV series would ever be surpassed. But Gentleman Jack has proved me wrong. Serene Jones is an absolute force of nature amid a stellar cast including Gemma Whelan, Gemma Jones, Timothy West, etc. I can't think of a better acting performance on TV during my lifetime than Serene Jones' portrayal of the incredible and multifaceted character of Anne Lister. And the top hats, off to the recreation of Industrial Revolution era Halifax. Probably the standout scene is where Jones is explaining how the body works, especially the power of the brain. This lump of stuff, to an increasingly animated Sophie Rundle and Walker. Let's hope the BBC reconsiders and recommissions a third season, with or without HBO. Death 64 retired Nottingham. It was funny, sexy, groundbreaking. The show was just brilliantly written. It was exciting, funny, sexy, groundbreaking television with wonderful performances and production values. The show has had a far-reaching impact on communities across the globe. I mourn not just for myself, but for everyone else who lives lives Gentleman Jack has changed for the better. I am truly gutted, and that we may never get to see Shibden Hall and Serene Jones, who embodies Anne Lister so brilliantly, strut through those doors again. I can't quite believe the journey is over when the story had only just begun. Joe, 45, and Minister Walford. Man. What? I transcribed pages of the journals and
Lister
snap! Here we go. Following series 1, I was fortunate to become involved in the West Yorkshire Archive Services transcription project.
Wow.
And I transcribed pages of the journal and kept, which are now being checked and corrected prior to being made available online. I found like-minded friends across the globe and have visited Halifax, Shibden, and many other locations that Anne either knew very well or visited on her travels.
Wow.
I was interviewed for Janet Leah's book, Gentleman Jack Effect, and have created online travel maps, contributed to the Anne Lister Research Summit, and attended ALBW, Anne Lister's birthday week, early this year.
That's so cool.
Being made aware of Anne Lister through Sally Wainwright's Gentleman Jack has changed my life. Jenni 50, airline worker, Hilversum, Netherlands.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, and like one of the things I wanted to talk about is where do we go from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say that they do decide to cancel the show, and they're not gonna make a 3rd season.
Yeah.
I've definitely been here before where I've gotten like so attached to a show that was canceled that I was just like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
And so I did look up, like, what the heck can I do? And so I think looking at Jenni, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Jenni, her list of all the ways that she's gotten involved is really helpful.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who are just like, oh, I'm just devastated, like, what now?
What do now?
What do now? Here are some things that you can do. You can check out these transcriptions. You can plan to travel to go see the areas where Anne Lister visited. All of these different things that she's done are things that you can look into doing. There's more we can talk about at the end.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention that, like, this can not only be, like, inspiration to be like, wow, look at all the ways it affected her. But if you're looking for yourself, like, what should I do now? These can be options for you, too.
Absolutely. It meant having no boundaries. Gentleman Jack meant power, strength, courage, and being unapologetic. It meant never having to say you're sorry for loving who you wanted. It meant having no boundaries and taking a stand on being the person you wanted to be. Gentleman Jack was an eye-opener for myself and women around the world to let us know that we are, and still are, in control of our life.
And still are.
Love and happiness, being canceled was like crushing blow of Thor's hammer. Oh gosh, devastating. Sandra 49, Artist, London.
Or Shonda.
Oh yeah. Gentleman Jack was the first validation I had.
Wow.
Gentleman Jack was the first validation I've had at the ripe age of 58 years old.
Oh.
That I was born this way and was a good person. Surely there cannot be a greater validation for one being than to be seen on TV. I'll forever be extremely grateful to Sally Wainwright, Serene Jones, Sophie Rundle, and the entire cast and crew for bringing Anne Lister to our hearts and homes. Their care in producing outstanding programming is a credit to their skills and dedication. That this story was labor of love shown through each episode, and my sincere hope is that they get the opportunity to complete it. Julie 61, Professor, France, U.S. I like this one.
I feel like that's part of it too, as Lois, that it, like, notice a lot of people who are older who are really touched by this. And I feel like it has to do with the fact that they're not portrayed as, like, these, like, young, perfect, like, model-esque kind of women, but just they're portrayed as, like, everyday women. Which I think makes them more relatable to, like, the average woman.
Yeah, and the thing about it, too, it shows it's never too late. Like, this woman is in her 60s, and now she's like, wow, it's okay to be like this, right? You know, it's sad that it took this long for her to be accepting of herself. But it's great that this has happened. I love this next title. It's a period drama that's so gay.
Nice.
I love period dramas. The romance, the costumes, the historical aspects, but they've always been so straight. And that's not me. It's so beautiful to watch women like Anne Lister and Anne Walker experience emotions and situations that I can relate to in such a deep way. 200 years later, I get to enjoy everything I love about a period piece with the added bonus of it being so gay. It has touched my heart in a way that not many shows or films ever did. Mariana 31, illustrator and graphic designer in Mexico City. Yes. Conducting my research on Gentleman Jack is a real privilege. Gentleman Jack has changed my life very significantly, and it feels like quite an understatement. I am currently undertaking a interdisciplinary PhD in heritage, tourism, and lesbian and queer identification.
Wow.
Anne Lister and the 21st Century's Little Sisters. Already this show has given me the opportunity to collaborate and communicate with an incredible global community of fans and scholars. And conducting my research on Anne Lister on Gentleman Jack and the Little Sisters and siblings inspired is a real privilege. On a less professional note, now, as a lesbian and as a person who does not fit neatly into the box of woman, seeing Anne strut through Halifax and showing deep affection for women she loves and constantly reaching for her goals, that feels like coming home to a brilliant part of yourself you hadn't quite understood yet. I'm indescribably grateful to Sally Wainwright and would love if Gentleman Jack continued so more people have the opportunity to recognize themselves like that.
Yes.
It's a wonderful feeling. Sarah, 27, PhD researcher, Surrey. Yeah.
So,
Look, there's
yeah,
so many
agree,
people.
dude. I so agree.
Look at all these people, man.
Yeah,
Like, come on,
their
HBO.
lives have been touched and changed and validated. And I think that, like, a lot of times when we see people in this, like, really, like, way of being like, I'm going to protect the women that matter to me, like, it's so often shown, like, these men doing this.
Yeah.
And so to see this woman being like, oh, I'm going to stand up for the women in my life, like, you know, it's so empowering.
It really is.
To other women to be like, I can do it too.
It really is just beautiful. Oh, all these people.
I can embrace that part of myself that's already there.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's, like, way more than just this, but, man, that's just amazing.
Those are only the people that were included in this article. We have one more article. All right.
And this was actually not too far off. July 18th, this was published on.
Okay, we can take turns reading this
Sure.
one. Okay. Could Gentleman Jack be saved? Creator Sally Wainwright teases possible season 3. Go back up for a second.
Yep.
This is by Kelly Boyle.
Okay.
You want to read it?
All right. Sally Wainwright has not given up on Gentleman Jack season 3. The show's creator says her team is brainstorming ways to get a third season made following Gentleman Jack's cancellation at HBO. According to Wainwright, BBC is still keen on making more episodes. The show was a collaboration between BBC and HBO, but they need another network to help the story to help the show stay globally accessible.
Which, by the way, I think is important to note that, like, again, like, we've mentioned this, but really, like, not all hope is lost on this.
Yeah, which is good.
There is still the potential of another network coming in and saving the show.
Yeah.
So let's keep those fingers and toes crossed, because it's not a time to give up yet.
Right.
Gentleman Jack stars Suran Jones as Anne Lister and Sophie Rundle as Anne Walker, the first woman to ever marry in England. Whew. The drama brought the real-life 1800s romance to life with the help of Lister's extensive diaries, which were meticulously detailed and partially written in code. Season 1 tracked the events leading up to Anne and Anne's secret wedding, and then Season 2 showed their new married life. The period drama boasts an avid fan base thanks to the representation for queer women it provided, and it even led to a statue being erected in Lister's honor and increased tourism in her hometown Halifax. There was already a plaque commemorating the couple's wedding. Dude, I totally want to go.
Right?
I don't know what it's like now that things have, like, reopened since the pandemic lockdown. But,
it's true.
Like, a big part of me really wants to go check that out.
Right? Well, I think we are all gutted, Wainwright told RadioTimes.com of the show's cancellation. It's been a bit of a surprise, really, because it's been doing really well. Certainly in this country. We're really ready to go again. The BBC certainly is up for going again. BBC has not canceled the series, but HBO's departure from the partnership has put season 3 production in limbo. I think if HBO had been up for it, there'd have been no question, Wainwright said in a third installment. It's been a very successful show in all areas for them. It's had fantastic reviews, it's had very respectable audience, and on top of that, it's even had an impact on the community of gay women who have most extraordinarily fan base. They organize all sorts of events.
Following HBO's announcement, BBC said in a statement that it's in discussions with Wainwright about what's next, per Radio Times. But now it needs a new production partner. I think it wouldn't want to continue with it. I'm not sure exactly. That's exactly what it says. Without it having the same production values, Wainwright said of the possibility of BBC producing solo. So we would need to find another partner who would stream it globally. you know, I think all those other options are being explored at the minute, given that there's a desire to go on with it amongst quite a lot of people. The BBC, Lookout Point, myself, you know. So, yeah, that's important to note that, like, the main reason that they are like, hey, we're gonna halt for now is because they want to keep the production quality.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, yeah, you've got to.
Yeah.
In another interview, the creator told Radio Times that Gentleman Jack Season 3, based on the contents of Lister's remaining diaries, would be juicy.
Yeah.
We have had the diary transcribed for a possible third series, and you know, I haven't read them all just yet because I didn't want to tempt fate, but I know a lot's in there. It's good stuff. It's juicy stuff. It would make a great drama. Wainwright said, the kind of thing you'd love to see Serene getting her laughing gear around as an actor, you know? It could be wonderful, but we'll see.
Jones and Rundle expressed their gratitude to the fans on their Instagrams, each of them thanking all those involved for helping bring Anne and Anne's romance to the screen. Fans are vocalizing their support for the show under the hashtag #SaveGentlemanJack hashtag in hopes to bring the stars back for more. We should post one.
We should. Oh, here we go. Here's some of the comments. If someone doesn't save sensational period series, #Gentleman Jack, a queer triumph, based on a true story and just marvelously performed and produced in all aspects, I will riot, one fan tweeted. New to Twitter as of today, only here to add my voice to #SaveGentlemanJack campaign. This isn't just another TV show, it's changed lives, another tweeted. At Spicy W deserves to finish telling Anne and Anne's brave story to the end. Really hope at BBC, at Lookout Point TV, can find a way to continue this.
Which streaming service or network do you think would be a great fit for Gentleman Jack Season 3? Let them know. That this is from Google. Let them know in the comments below. Yeah, so that's all that we have for now on that. We're going to keep our eyes and ears open for any news about the show. And in the meantime, we will be watching the rest of Season 2 and just celebrating what we've gotten so far.
Yeah, it's just, it needs to be saved. It's such a beautiful show.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before I share what I found to do once the show you love is canceled?
I'm just kind of shocked still. You know, I'm reeling in from it. I'm really hoping it can be saved. I'm really touched by all these like individuals, and like I said, I'm sure there's many more that've had their lives saved by a show, and it really is such a. I mean, a statue. A statue. Yeah. That's amazing stuff. Yeah. So anyway, what can you do? Well, here's Jenni.
Here's like what I found. Aside from the fact that like if you're a fan, definitely use this hashtag.
Definitely.
So that you can and let people that you know, because the show isn't lost yet, right?
Right.
So if there are people that you know that you think would really like it, tell them about it.
Yeah.
Like send them videos of clips that you think that they'd like.
There's a bloopers reel apparently.
Yeah, and just, like, do what you can. Use what you've got to get the word out about the show to see if we can get this show the attention that it deserves to be able to be brought back around for a third season. Another thing is, like I said, someone posted in our local lesbian community on Facebook, our Facebook group. So if you all are in like lesbian communities and you want to like share about it, there might be people in there who would freaking love this show and just don't know about it yet. So these are things that you can do to kind of raise awareness that this show exists, and I'm sure people are gonna freaking love it. They just don't know about it yet.
Didn't get enough promotional content.
So here we are doing our part. Yeah, and letting more people know about it that maybe don't yet. So after your show does get canceled, a few things you can do, like, one is just rewatch what exists already. So yeah, there's a reason you love it. Like, just rewatch it, enjoy it, and just bask in what you do have. Another thing is, like, sometimes there is complimentary information or complimentary, like, published content out there. So in this case, there are books published with information about Anne's life. Her diaries themselves, I believe, are published. So you can look into what else that's related content that you can get into that has to do with the series. Another thing which we're into is cosplay, dressing up like the characters from the series. And this is actually like from like a historical context. So you could look into costuming of the time, and learn a lot and get into this time period. There's so much there. Yeah. Anything else you've got? I would also say, like, either looking up communities. So it's clear that people are finding online communities.
Yeah, it seems
so
to
you
be.
can look up, like, Facebook groups that are about this. You can either join or start local meetup groups that are, like, about this fandom. Like, if it's not already out there, create it. Yeah. You know, get your friends together and have watching
Gentleman
night.
Jack watch parties.
Yeah, Gentleman Jack watch party
Gentleman
nights.
Jackathon.
Yeah, so
First season's only 8 episodes long.
yeah, it's not a long thing to watch, so, you know, you can do all of these things in the meantime while we wait to see. But even if it is canceled, these are all things you can still do to really partake in this fandom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. That
Yes.
make some food from that time period.
Yeah.
You really want to do that?
You can make food and, like, stuff you've seen in the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and if you have the budget and time, you can travel and do the tour.
Yeah.
And go take a look at these actual sites. That's one of the really cool things about taking a look at things that are based on history.
Yeah.
Is that these places where these things have happened and the story actually exists.
That's true. They certainly do.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all that I have for you. But if you have more ideas or ways that people can continue keeping this fandom going, please let us know in the comments. Or if this series has affected you, we would love to hear about it too. Like, it's been really freaking touching for us.
Oh, yeah.
To hear about all the ways that people's lives have been changed from this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks you all so much for watching, and we'd love to stay in touch with you, so please subscribe. We look forward to connecting with you all again soon, and we will be sending so much love. Till next time.
Laters!